Hello everyone, Jordan here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit different of a video today. Today we're going to be pointing out several things that I'd like to see changed and improved for Imaginesim's latest ATL Next update. About a week ago on Facebook, Imaginesim previewed their ATL Next update that will be free to existing customers and whatnot. Basically, long story short, it's adding the new features and architecture, mostly just the coloring that the new airport is getting, or the real airport is getting. But within the previews, there's still several things that I could notice was wrong and should be changed, or things that aren't correct. And before I begin, I want to kind of make clear of two things. Number one, I live here. I fly through this airport very often, very often. And two, this video is more constructive criticism and hope that Imaginesim eventually sees it and makes the best possible scenery for us. The scenery right now that we have, it's not terrible, but there's a lot of things that can be improved and a lot of things that can be better. So this video is kind of just to point out little areas that I don't want to like write in a bunch of Facebook replies to Imaginesim spamming them. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, number one is the airport terminals themselves. Okay, so before I begin with this point, I'm going to let you know I'm going to have a lot of Google Earth pictures as well as a lot of pictures that I've taken myself and stuff to kind of back up what I'm saying, so you know I'm not just making stuff up. But nonetheless, as you can see in this picture right here, they have the new colors. However, the coloring could be a little better. It looks washed out, and these are relatively newly painted and done terminals. I'm talking like these are recent changes that have been done to the airport. The real terminals appear much darker and aren't faded in color, and they appear to be kind of faded in the screenshot. If anything, it's kind of like the color of Discord's dark theme. That's like an actually good color to kind of go off of for this, so yeah. You can also notice in that picture that they have not added the new windows. The real airport has taken out many of the traditional windows and have added, much taller ones that extend from the top of the terminal down. Now, the only issue I would see with this, or at least from the Imaginesim point of view, is that you'd probably have to remodel some things because they do have the interior modeled in some areas. But again, I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult. And it's something that is going all around the entire airport. All the concourses are having the new windows like this, and it does look drastically different than what it used to. So, in my opinion, it's something that would really add a lot of immersion to the airport. New lounges and clubs have also been built above concourses, and Imaginesim has yet to add them. These are pretty huge changes to the terminals. Like, these are huge structures that have been built on top of most terminals. I think the D concourse as well as the B concourse both have huge clubs that have been built on top for Delta and their Sky team and everything else. So I would really like to have that added because like right now the airport looks kind of bare boned, at least Imaginesim's current version, and these are really huge structures that you kind of just can't ignore, but it's just something I want to make sure they see. I want to cover everything. Continuing with the point of concourses, I want to talk about the C concourse specifically. For some reason, the jetways and gate placement is really off, and they have these really inaccurate Southwest jetway stickers. You could just Google Southwest Airlines jetway and get an idea of what the real jetway designs are for Southwest, but for some reason, we have this really weird design that is not used by Southwest at all in the real world. For example, I made a very quick fix to show you what it was supposed to look like, but I don't know why they have just Southwest written on there. They don't do that. They don't do that at any airport, but okay. Furthermore, regarding the gates, as you can see in these pictures, like the placement of the jetways makes it so that you're going to have a lot of glitches and you're going to have a lot of collisions. And it's just like, it makes the scenery look amateur. And for the price that they're charging, I think they could do a lot better, especially with the fact that Fly Tampa is going to be charging around the same price, and I don't expect them to make these mistakes. So this is a good chance to kind of fix it before it's too late. But as you get the idea, around like the C3 area and right around like the C20 to 30 area, the jetways for some reason are like incorrectly placed, and it causes things to just like not work properly. It's hard to fit jets into gates and everything. So nonetheless, I hope that gets fixed in this update. Number two is elevation. You might not realize this, but the elevation changes are Atlanta are huge. And I mean, there are huge elevation changes. For example, the maintenance facility near the Fly Delta Jets hangar is like a good 20 to 30 feet below the runway and taxiway. It's like you can hide entire aircraft in that area where they park the airplanes. And it's like Nimbus hasn't done this, and Imaginesim either have not done this. It's just flatlands. And now I do understand that this will be difficult to do and prepared, especially with the fact that sloped runways and taxiways are very difficult in, the ESP simulators. It is possible though, and it has been proven to be feasible. So in my opinion, it would be better to have half functional, if not even even if it wasn't functional, at least the elevation changes, because that would make the scenery so much more realistic than just flying into flatlands. Because when you just fly into flatlands, it feels like, you can obviously tell that it's just a scenery that somebody made. You want to kind of cross that threshold into, wow, this is a really immersive scenery. This is so realistic. So that's something that can really be done. And as you can see on the screen, I'm showing you some pictures from Google Earth where you can just see the huge changes in elevation. There are 20-foot drops all over the airport, 20, 30 feet. It's everywhere because, this airport is built on a hilly area and the terrain kind of, varies. Even the runways themselves have some pretty deep curves, The elevation, nonetheless, just needs to be changed, at least add something. If you just have it flat everywhere, then it's just meh. And as I mentioned previously, mesh editing can be difficult, but I have the confidence that Imaginesim is skilled enough to at least attempt it. Number 3 is surrounding areas and details. There's a lot of really cool things that can be added to the scenery to make it better that they don't have right now, such as the 747, 757, and DC-9 that sits outside at the Delta Museums, the new hotels, the new Porsche headquarters and test track that you fly over on one of the approaches, and the surrounding area itself. These are really cool things that are physically there that you see when you're flying in and flying out. And I think that if Imaginesim added, it would be really amazing. I know Nimbus added these things in his scenery, and they're great to look at. And if Imaginesim really wants to have a better Atlanta against Fly Tampa, then I'd recommend having detailed surrounding area with at least some landmarks, such as Stone Mountain or maybe downtown. And at least having things like, the 747 and 757 and DC-9 that's, it sits outside that you can see from the terminal at the Delta Museum, because the Delta Museum is right there at the airport and everything else like that. But overall, I just think that if Imaginesim kind of, expanded and did more of the surrounding area, because Atlanta is a very scenic approach when you're flying into Atlanta. You either fly over the city with Six Flags and the attractions, Stone Mountain, Forest, or everything. It's very fun flying over Atlanta. And really in the sim right now, it's kind of dull because there hasn't been much scenery around the airport built, but this is a real area I think that Imaginesim could excel at if they kind of wanted to. Number 4, doing some more research-ish. Yeah. There's a lot of things with Imaginesim's rendition that make me question how much research they actually did, because there's plenty of things that are in their version that aren't there in real life. For example, the automatic gate marshalers, or basically the signs that tell you that will marshal you into the gate without the need of a marshaler physically on the ground. Southwest doesn't have those. They don't have these huge stands that Imaginesim for some reason has at the sea gates. Southwest doesn't use these at all. At all. And they have these huge stands in front of the gates in Imaginesim's version that aren't there in reality. So I'm not sure why they have them. Furthermore, when I was looking in Google Earth and looking through my photos, I couldn't find one gate actually having these. I don't think they have them at Atlanta. So again, Imaginesim, I'm not sure why you integrated these. They don't have them. The automatic marshaler system, that's integrated into the terminals. That's just screens on the terminal, which you do have, but you have the 2 versions and it's wrong. It's just have the automatic marshalers that are physically on the terminal and nothing else. That's what we need to do. Nonetheless, it's something that I just hope is actually removed in this next update because, it's unrealistic. They don't have this at Atlanta. Number 5, detail. In this picture, you can see that they didn't model the entirely new departure and arrival area at the domestic terminal. It is an entirely new design. They're tearing down literally everything and making it new. They don't have the rectangle-like roof anymore that is right over where you step in and step out. It's all new. It has glass and stuff. It's a very modern design that is kind of even similar to the... you can tell it takes inspiration from the Mercedes-Benz new stadium for the Falcons. So you can kind of see that, and it's something that, it takes more work, yes, but it's detail that would be really great to make the airport much more immersive and realistic. Nonetheless, that's pretty much all the concerns I have for this video. The scenery itself is good, but they can make it much better. They can really take it to the next level. If you follow the pattern of looking for detail, doing research, and even just visiting the airport and applying what you see in detail to the sim, then I expect Imaginesim to have an amazing scenery. Fly Tampa is not a joke. They don't play around. They will make a very good Atlanta. And in my eyes, this is one of Imaginesim's last big chances to get something out with their Atlanta before Imaginesim goes and starts previewing theirs. Go out with a bang. Don't have us immediately point out areas where Fly Tampa did something obviously better. Make it hard for us to see where Fly Tampa excelled at. That's what you want to do. Because Imaginesim, they've made it clear that they're not backing down just because Fly Tampa announced this. And we need to remember, Fly Tampa can do a really good job. So, with that being said, Imaginesim, it's time to go big or go home. I think you guys can do it. I have full faith and confidence that you can make this scenery even better than what it is now, and I just think you can do it. You can do it. Take what I've said in this video and please make this an amazing scenery. Anyways, that's all we have for today. I do realize this is a different video than what I usually do, but while I was flying through the airport again, I was saying to myself, okay, these are areas where Fly Tampa can excel at, where Imaginesim doesn't have. And you know, it would be nice if Imaginesim added this to their airport and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully they listen to what I say and we go from here. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Jordan. See you in the next episode.